Welcome to season 7, episode 14 of. I didn't play the intro. That's what I was missing.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Well, I don't even have it ready to go. Yeah. I told you right before I hit start. I'm like, I forgot something. I'm forgetting to do something, and it's the show. So go ahead, Jeff. You sing it, and then we'll.
Come on, St. Louis.
Okay.
I was going to say the "Let's Go Blues" part.
We'll play it here. Let's pop up.
I want Kurt to do the O'Reilly bit all on his own.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, hold on here. Hold on. There we go. I lied.
Worst open ever.
It is.
Yeah, so preseason form. That's, what remedies that, Jeff? Is it sideboards? Mountains?
Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis Blues.
Well, okay. Started the show without the intro. You can't start the show without the intro, right? I mean, God.
Especially the new intro, man.
I know. And I said, it's like, I'm forgetting to do something. I know I am. And I hit start. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. Intro. Welcome to season 7, episode 14 of Let's Go Blues Radio. It is, it was supposed to, 9 p.m. was the advertised start time, and it's 9:18 now. So that's not our worst start time ever. We're live on Wednesday, September 26, 2018. This is franchise episode number 142 all time. My name is Kurt Price. My Twitter handle is @KurtPrice. Bill Day's Twitter handle is @BillyBlueNote. And Jeff Ponder's Twitter handle is @JPonder94. If you want to send the show a tweet, send it to @LGBRadio, and we'll try to read it live on the air. If you want to talk hockey live with us on the show, we'll open it up for listeners midway through the show. Hopefully we do have time for that. Go ahead and check out the letsgoblues.com shop and consider buying a reasonably priced shirt, mug, or sticker. The summer interview series, Mr. Ponder, you wrapped that up with your last effort. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. I'm echoing that. If you want to.
Okay.
Edit. I sound great now. Listen to me. No, I don't. I still come.
How's that? Is that any better?
Much better, hopefully. Yes, much better. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the first show to where we're going to have many issues like this, so hopefully you stay tuned. The interview series was finished up with Jeremy Rutherford last week, and then kind of just a few days before that, we had Tom Calhoun and Steve Albers from Center Ice Brewery. Good stuff. Those guys were phenomenal guests. They talked about their careers, where they got to where they are. And I've actually had a couple people reach out that were like, one guy was a voiceover guy, and he found me because he follows Tom Calhoun. So he's not even a hockey fan, and he listened. So, pretty good stuff. All great guests. And if you haven't listened yet, it's content. It's evergreen content. What do you guys know what evergreen means, right?
Good for a while.
Yeah. Look at Bill. Bill, you're on top of things. This is stuff. I mean, if you listen to the Andy Strickland interview, which was the first one done in May, there's a lot of talk at the end of the show about will the Blues get John Tavares? What are you expecting this summer? But before all that, We go over his career. We talk a lot about the 2000s teams with Pronger and McInnes. I mean, every one of those episodes that I recorded, you can listen to anytime. It's not like completely out of date when you listen. So if you haven't listened yet, summer interview series, you can find it. Find every episode that I did wherever you get Let's Go Blues Radio.
Well done.
Thank you. After my initial start of sounding like I'm in a tunnel.
I couldn't hear it. I'm sure the other folks did though. So
Yep.
I don't know why it is in Hangouts. I gotta like switch it from studio to voice. It can sound fine to me here. You didn't hear it either, did you? I mean,
No, I did.
echo. You did? Here's echo?
No.
Okay. Well,
You're just oblivious.
how is that? I don't know. Maybe it's my supersonic hearing. Okay. So yeah, but switching from voice to studio and then back again works. I don't know why that does that. It's a Hangouts thing. Bill, how are you? Sir.
I'm well. Surprised that we're 8 days away from the season opening. I mean, summer just has flown by, and I'm ready for hockey.
It kind of has. It does not seem like the game against Colorado was that long ago.
No.
Who did I have on? You guys, I know you guys listen to every episode multiple times. I had somebody on that we talked about that offsides goal, and we were all still fired up about it. I remember who it was. Might have been the Blue Line podcast guys, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but because I still get angry about it. But whatever. I guess we get angry about Blues hockey no matter what time of year it is.
You're not a Blues fan if you ain't angry about Blues hockey.
That's true.
The official beers of episode number 140. What did I say? 7? I said 142, right? 142.
It's 142, I believe.
It is 142. Let's
Wait, 147. You said 142 at the start of the show.
It is 147.
This is off the rails.
Preseason form.
It's not my fault. 2 o'clock Kurt did that.
Okay, so this is just a practice, right? Nobody's listening. We can just start over, right?
There are a lot of people.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
There are always a lot of people listening. What are you talking about?
Of course.
Let's see. Official beers. Bill.
I'm going straight for it, right into the barrel aged stuff preseason episode. So this is Founders Curmudgeon's Better Half. So Curmudgeon's an old style ale brewed with molasses. This is the barrel aged version. It's got a nice bourbon barrel flavor to it.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, preseason form. I'm a little bit of I've got to get used to, having the mic back in my face.
There's no STD on the mic. You're okay. You can get closer.
Well,
not that I'm aware. It's got a condom on it.
Prophylactic. The prophylactic cover will protect me.
Yeah, it's sanitized for. It's spermicidal and it's ribbed on the outside, so you can get as close as you want.
But for whose pleasure?
For mine. I get to watch you. Proceed. Did you barrel aged?
Yes. So, what tames an old ale like curmudgeon? The tender embrace of oak and sweet maple. That's what. The result is Curmudgeon's Better Half, a harmonious matrimony of our deceptively smooth old ale brewed with molasses and time spent aging in bourbon barrels that have previously held maple syrup, because all counterparts should be sweet, rich, and utterly delicious.
That's from Founders? That's from
Founders.
And it sounds delicious. Is it?
It's tasty.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it.
Good. Ponder, what do you got?
Well, I've got an old St. Louis favorite. I think I've had this on the show recently, actually.
There's only so many beers.
Yeah, I know. And I think this is still left over from the last time we did a show. Schlafly Oktoberfest.
Like half a beer? Is it you've kept it?
Yeah, it's the exact same one. I just kind of kept it by my feet as I recorded the summer interview series. No, it's it's just it's one of the best Oktoberfests out there. I don't care if you're from St. Louis, Dallas, Detroit. Schlafly makes one hell of an Oktoberfest. If you like Oktoberfest, which back when I first started drinking beer, and I think Bill and I have had this conversation a couple times, I loved pumpkin beer, and I still do. It depends on which kind. Pumpkin is great for those of you that never had it. But what's that?
It's from Southern Tier.
Yeah, it is. It's great. I like a lot of pumpkin beer, and I never gave Oktoberfest a chance. And then when I got to be about 24, 25, I started having Oktoberfest, and I'm like, where have you been my whole life? So if you've never had Oktoberfest beer, it's sweet, it goes down easy, and it just, honestly, it's something I could drink year round. So I recommend the Schlafly Oktoberfest if you've never had it.
So many jokes.
Had a girlfriend like that in high school.
Wait,
Wow.
That's terrible joke.
It is. It is.
It is.
It is. It's a bad joke. It's.
We're going to some dark places. To
You can
start the
never
show.
run for. You can never be nominated to the Supreme Court now.
Yes, you can.
I mean, he can be nominated, but there will be issues. Mine is I guarantee you. Well, Bill's had it. I guarantee you that the Cardinals just got swept. Great. That the Ponders never had this beer, and I would wager a large chunk of money that nobody in our listening audience has had this beer, which is vast. It is Viking. It's from Iceland.
I've never had it.
Well, have you ever checked our download numbers from like
No,
from a map perspective?
I have not checked the Iceland. We may have had one listener from Iceland at one time, so there is a chance actually that. But this it's I can hold up the microphone here, or I'll hold the bottle up to the microphone so you can see it.
Worst show ever.
Camera to the camera so you can see it. It's for those of you viewing on YouTube now or later. Yeah, it's by Viking. I assume that's pronounced Brewhouse. Brughghus. And I'll read the back of the bottle to you. Sigildur Gabdabor Viking Margaverlander Gerdur Burning from Lorgard Og Friskenlag. Okay, and that's it's Icelandic. I assume it's Icelandic. I mean, it could be gibberish. I don't know. But anyway, it's okay. It's all right. It's fine.
It had a very grainy, yeasty flavor to it.
Yeah, it does. And I really the only English on this damn thing is brewed and bottled by Viking Brewery. that's all. It contains malted barley. Best before C bottleneck. There's no date.
9/12/2014.
Right. Yeah, 2014. So it's fine. It's yeah, it's all right. It's not. I would not buy this beer again, but it's neat. It's from Iceland. So if you're in Iceland and you want to try Viking beer, be prepared for an okay beer. What do we got next? Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account. September 26th, 2018. So in 1974. On September 26th, the St. Louis Blues blew a 4-2 lead and lost 5-4 to the Houston Aeros in the first ever game between the NHL and WHA on September 26th, 1974. That was the year I was born. Literally 2 days after I was born.
So literally a year and a half before I was born. So,
and I do not recall this game. I was 2 days old. So yeah, I wish I could, hey, I remember that game, but I do not. Jeff, you remember that game? No?
Yes, very vividly.
Today's date in Blues history, 1992. Brett Hull was named the captain of the St. Louis Blues on September 26th today. He was the sixth Blues captain in 6 years, which is really bad. And then Bobby Plager later that night berated his brand new captain Brett Hull on the bench during the game that same night. So good old Bobby Plager, who coached the team for about 8 games or something. It was not very long.
No. it was much more of an interim role than
Right.
anything else.
Right. Didn't who was it? Who took over?
Bob Berry.
Bob
wasn't
Berry.
it?
Yeah. It was Bob Berry. It was Bob-
That was a point in time when you just handed the C to your best player, because anyone who's played with Brett Hall, and Brett Hall would probably tell you this himself too, that man is not captain material.
No.
So
Not-
very odd.
He's not a rah guy. He's a hey, dude, you fucking suck tonight.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lead. I'm sure he was a leader in the locker room just because of who he was, but he's not the type of guy that you expect to stand up and give a speech after the second period.
I wouldn't even say he's a lead by example guy, because he didn't play great defense out there on the ice. He does not like he was a hard working player. He coasted a lot. He'll tell you that. But he found open spaces. That was his deal. He kind of coast and float and find open spots and turn invisible. So that was his deal.
Yeah. Totally different era of the NHL too. When who played defense?
That'd be nobody.
Maybe Scott Stevens.
Maybe Scott Stevens.
Not Steve Smith.
Not Steve Smith. No, he shot pucks in his own net.
Yeah, that's right.
1976, September 26, 1976. Bob Gassoff dislocated the left wrist of Bobby Hull with a slash on this date in an exhibition game between the St. Louis Blues and the Winnipeg Jets.
Way to go, Bobby Gassoff.
It's always great when the goon takes out the superstar, you know?
Yes.
So, hey, if you don't follow the @STL Blues history Twitter account, please do. They're a great follow. We always say that because it's true. And there's no other reason to say it because it's true.
Would we ever lie to you? That's the question.
Oh, we lie all the time.
Okay, true.
That's not up for debate. But whether or not that folks realize we're lying to them is the question. We hide it well. Did the Athletic had a Blues projection model for the Blues for the upcoming season? And I took a look at this when it came out, and this was by is this even a real last name? Dom
Lecision.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Lecision?
not to call him out, but I asked Jeremy Rutherford how to say his name before we talked about that article, and he's like, "Yeah, don't put this on the air, but I don't know how to say his name either." And that's his colleague.
We won't put it on the air then. Lucision. It's very close to
Curtis Lecision.
Right, but it's not spelled the same way though.
No.
There's a lot more Z's and S's in there. It is L. There's like no vowels. There's one vowel in his last name. I'm not counting Y's either.
Lucision not going to work here anymore.
Luszczyn. That is nuts. Okay, anyway. I thought this was a pretty fantastic breakdown. He has a model that he uses that kind of analyzes and predicts about how a team will do based on a number of number of variables. Anyway, it's interesting, but his model for the Blues has the Blues remaining on the playoff bubble, so about where they were last year, despite the perception of vast improvements that Armstrong has made. Why, you may ask? Did you guys get a chance to look this over at all? Because
Yes.
okay, so I found it. I mean, we've talked about a number of these things, and it's interesting to see another person put it into kind of like a model, come up with very similar things to what we've been saying. But why does he feel that way? He feels that the Blue schedule sucks. I know we talked about this a couple shows ago. And it was talked about tweeted out on Twitter that the Blues have a high number of games where they are at a rest disadvantage, higher than most teams in that regard. So that kind of sucks. They have less rest than the team they're playing. The Blues will be less rested than opponents 10 more times than when they are more rested, the more rested team. So that's their disadvantage there. They have 4 games that will be their let's say they have 4 games. That will be their 6th in 9 games. 4 times. Yeah, 4 games. Okay, there are 4 games this coming season where we can say this is their 6th game in 9 days, if that makes sense.
I struggled with that when talking to Rutherford too, so you're not alone.
That is crazy, and that, not to mention that one of those stretches comes in the final week of the season.
Yeah.
And if they need points to jump up over a team or to even get in the playoffs, that's going to suck because they'll have games in hand. So I know the conversation is going to be this: well, we got 3 games in hand, and we can make up ground if we do this. But this is our 3rd game in 4 nights, and it's just it's gonna. So we'll see how that goes. Now, last year they always did really well on back-to-back nights.
Right. The year before that, though, they were fucking terrible.
Yeah. So I mean, it just depends, and we'll see. Hopefully, with a few young kids in the lineup this year, they'll have fresher legs. I don't know. But it's safe to say the Blues are one of the teams getting hurt most by the league's schedule makers. So that's fantastic. So go ahead.
I was just going to say that. I mean, that's something that when you're breaking down teams, and here's our team preview. From blog A and blog B. That's something a lot of people don't take into account. You're going to say, okay, looking at this roster, looking at the rest of the Central, Blues should be a 100-point team. Okay, yeah, that's believable. But then you look at the schedule and you say they've got some tough games ahead. I mean, there are some games, like you said, there's multiple times where they have 4 games in 6 nights. That takes a toll on any team, no matter how young you are, no matter how experienced you are. And
multiple games where they have 6 games in 9 nights.
Yeah, I mean that's insane. And you look at the breakdown across the league, and yeah, I mean it's not just that the Blues have one of the tougher schedules. It's that I think they have the toughest schedule from what I've seen. I mean it's that bad. So the Blues are really going to have to buckle down, and we're going to have to hope that Chad Johnson, which we'll probably I imagine we'll get to here in a minute, the breakdown that he had on the goaltending, but you're going to have to expect Chad Johnson or Billy Husso or whoever's going to be the backup all year to be able to step in and play some big minutes, because you can't rely. I mean, I don't care who the goalie is, but the Blues track record with Jake Allen, you just can't rely on him being able to carry that load. I mean, it's a crazy amount of games in a short amount of time.
They've got 91. They project the Blues to get 91.5 points, which that's not a playoff. I mean, that's rough getting the playoffs at 91 points. The forward group, they're very complimentary of the forward group. They say that it's a great forward group. They rank 10th in the league collectively, thanks to a superb top 9 that ranks 9th. Granted, they have Fabbri and Yaskin penciled in, and no Blay or Kyrou. So we'll see how that plays out if those 2 guys do make the team. So we'll see. But the defense gets even better marks from this model. So the forwards and defense get really good marks. If the Blues have arguably the top 2 pairs, the two top pairs that give them the 5th best top 4 in the league and the 7th best group overall. So put all the schedules together, offense and defense, and the Blues have a top 10 team. As many based on what we just mentioned, the roster compared to other teams in the league, it's a very good roster. So, but then we come to goaltending, and it's so interesting to read this because, and I'm reading this from the article. The problem with St. Louis is, unsurprisingly, in net. Jake Allen has been largely inconsistent as a starter the last 2 seasons. His save percentage of .910 ranks 38th among goalies who have played 25 or more games. His .920 save percentage from 3 seasons ago is starting to become a distant memory at this point. So what further sullies Allen's numbers is that the Blues also have a reputation for stingy defense. Over the last 3 seasons, Allen's save percentage is .913, but his expected save percentage based on the shot quality he faced is .917. So the difference is 48th among goalies over that span. So last year was a new low for Allen, as the .906 save percentage he posted was significantly lower than the expected .916. By goals saved above average, Allen was a minus 15.9, meaning he nearly cost the Blues 3 wins. Only 4 other goalies were worse last season, and one of them is the team's new backup, Chad Johnson. So, as far as roster construction important goes, a backup goalie is one of the lowest priorities on the list. However, for the Blues, it may be part of what sinks an otherwise stacked team. Johnson is one of the lesser goalies in the league last season, and is a significant downgrade from what the team had in 17-18 when Hutton put up surprisingly elite numbers behind Allen last season. In fact, his goals saved above average of 16.9 counteracted Allen's struggles, giving the team an illusion of average goaltending last season. So what should make Blues fans a bit more optimistic about this forecast is that goaltending is by far the trickiest position to predict, which we've talked about before, about goaltenders can be up or down based on the season. It's hard to say. But with that said, the Blues are slated to receive bottom 3 goaltending this season, making it difficult for any team to realistically compete for a playoff spot, which is spot fucking on
Yes.
on what we've been saying about the goaltending. So
So my thoughts on that, and I'm going to try and not repeat anything I've said over the summer. And obviously, I want to get Bill's opinion here too, because he's our resident goalie expert. Former AHL goalie, right, Bill?
OHL.
OHL, right?
Wrong OHL.
Yeah.
Don't get crazy here.
Yeah.
So no, I am much more excited about the Chad Johnson signing than probably 99% of Blues fans, because I throw last year into a dumpster because he was on with Robin Lehner, one of the worst teams that defensively that has been put on the ice in years. And I think, yes, his numbers were inflated and they were awful, and he very well could carry those numbers over here. But when you look at where he was in Calgary just 2 years ago, now granted, they didn't have a great defense either, but they kind of had to make him the starter for a while because Brian Elliott was that bad. But he looked great for a long stretch of the season. I mean, there was 2 months there where he was the starting goalie for the Calgary Flames. If he can find that magic again, then he's going to be fine. I don't think he'll put up Carter Hutton numbers, but he'll put you up numbers to where this team can still win games, even if he doesn't have his strongest game. Now, having said that, like Kurt just said, goaltending is the toughest position to predict. So it's going to go either way. We don't know. And the same thing with Jake Allen. We don't know how he's going to play. But yeah, that is definitely the most concerning. But I do think that people shouldn't be throwing Chad Johnson under the bus just yet.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you that his numbers should improve. Actually, I mean, and again, it's just the preseason, but he's played very well in the preseason so far. He's got a 1.01 goals against average, and he's played in 3 games, and he's played well. He's been the Blues' best goalie in the preseason so far. So with that said, I expect him to do better in front of behind a better team. With that said, it's hard to play worse than Allen did last year, for the most part. So I would hope that he could play better than Allen did last year as a backup to Allen this year, if that makes sense.
I was just going to throw my 2 cents into the conversation here, as the not really OHL backup goalie at CBC.
What was it? What league was the CBC in? What league?
Mid-States high school hockey.
Mid-States high school hockey
Yes.
veteran goalie.
ECHL.
Not even close. So that paragraph, that last paragraph that you read, my iPad just went to sleep, so I can't just repeat it quickly. But that Chad Johnson, the fact that we're talking prominently about Chad Johnson, and this isn't our season preview show, but the fact that we're talking about him, he is at best a B goalie. He's not. It's not like years past. Last year we could consider Carter Hutton, who I don't think when he first signed here people would consider him coming in to be a 1B to Jake Allen. They considered him a B goalie. If we get that out of Chad Johnson, great. I don't expect that to happen. The best 20 game stretch of his career happened while he was in Calgary, but he still wound up a 500 goalie that year. Maybe it is a function of the defense that was in front of him. That it was a bad Calgary team, it was a bad Buffalo team last year. I think though everything this season rides solely on Jake Allen. We can't expect Chad Johnson to be the savior of this team. And, a lot of people I know have been looking to Ville Husso to get a shot. this team is really Jake Allen or bust. That's just how I see it going into the season. And I'll tell you, if he gives up a bad goal in the first game, just how quickly will the sphincters of every Blues fan pucker, just thinking this is going to be a long season.
Yeah, and
That was graphic.
I think that's going to be that way, and it's sad it's going to be that way, but that's what's on everyone's mind, and because the team is more or less stacked compared to last year, it's a much better roster. So really, the pressure falls on goaltending because it was so bad last year. Our starting goaltending was bad last year, and now that there's not Hutton to come in and save the day and make the overall goaltending look average, because that's pretty bad when your one goalie starts 30 whatever games he started, and he puts up the best GAA and the best save percentage, and as a whole, your number one brings you down to league average, less than league average goaltending. So
right, and missing the playoffs.
And
that's the thing that scares me about the 2 points that were made in the article, the strength of, or the toughness of schedule in all of those games. You were going to have to rely on Chad Johnson to play some games.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll put up the numbers that he's putting up now during the regular season. But again, preseason, don't bet on it. Yeah, it's scary because I'm just at this point, I am not a believer in Jake Allen. Hope he proves me wrong. I don't expect it to happen.
We've beaten this horse quite a bit, and I'm with you that Jake Allen has to re-earn the confidence of a lot of fans because it's gone for so many. Ray in the YouTube chat said he's an Allen supporter. I think we're all Allen supporters. We want him to do well, but because I'm still purchasing his jersey to support him more than I ever have. I'm rallying, and I'm going to say that that in the past, when I've bought a jersey with a player's name on it, they have not lasted the full season on that team. So, and I mean, if Allen struggles as bad this year as he did last year, I don't see him being the starter on this team come Christmas. So I just don't see it. So I hope I'm wrong about that. And Lance sent us a tweet, messaged me, and said asked if we're doing a show tonight. I said we're doing one now, Lance. There he is. He's joined the chat. Here, the Blues. Lance says from the Drop Podcast says the Blues offense needs to re-earn our confidence also. Right. And Lance says Lance needs to join the show later so we can have a little battle about the offense last year versus the goaltending last year. The offense was bad last year, and the power play was worse.
Power play was just atrocious last year.
Yeah, and that's, you're not going to argue that. I'm not going to get an argument from me at all. The goaltending and the offense was bad. They are not. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. And I think with the offense, the difference with the offense and the goaltending is that the Blues have changed the offense quite a bit. They brought in players. The roster, the forward group is vastly different than last year. So, and there is a Robbie Fabry that's trying to be healthy. He's just not. He's, at least his knee is not, the issue again. But so we've got and Lance says he wants to get a margarita first before he joins the show. But we'll try and open it up later.
Yes, no salt on the margarita.
No fault.
Lance does say also, come on, guys, it wasn't all Jake's fault, which we agree. But, I mean, come on, Lance, you have to admit that is the biggest question mark going into the season. I mean, yeah, you could point fingers and say, okay, well, the offense is going to have to gel quickly because it's a whole new system and a whole new setup and got to get the power play on track. Yeah, but they've addressed that. They really didn't address the goaltending too much. So the question mark still lies where the weakness was last year.
And I'll say this too. in addition to okay, so the first was it through December, the first week in December or something like that. The Blues were the top scoring team in the league.
Masked it.
Yeah, they were killing it offensively through December 7th or whatever it was. So actually, technically, you could say that if it wasn't for the Blues offense last year, they'd have missed the playoffs by a lot. Going on a tear early in the season, I mean. So and Jake Allen was pretty consistently bad the whole season, except for a couple of pockets where he played well. He played well to end the season, more or less. So, but I think, but and we've talked about this before, but when the Blues offense was tearing it up, Allen's numbers were about the same as they were most of the season. They're pretty bad, but it didn't get the attention until the Blues offense dried up and started to suck. Then all of a sudden we're noticing, oh my gosh, we allow 2 goals, 3 goals, and one's a softie, and we lost 3-1 or 2-1, and all of a sudden it's like, then they're blaming Allen. So it's I agree completely that the offense was terrible last year. The power play was awful, but the goaltending was also bad. It didn't have to be one or the other. The article also goes on to praise the forward group in detail, the good moves that Armstrong has made, but it also says that all of that could be undone by the 2 points mentioned earlier with the goaltending, the starter and the backup. So it also says that the chemistry with new players is hard to predict. So that's so good chemistry could give the team a boost in the point category as well. So to recap this entire thing, according to the model, the Blues' strength of schedule and the subpar goaltending that's expected in the model could cause the Blues to be a playoff bubble team this season, which I think would disappoint a lot of people because there's a lot of hype, probably too much. So, I mean, not to be a downer, but the team is much better, and I expect good things from them this season. But I think a lot of people are I think they're going to burn houses down if this team does not perform at a near elite level.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably bought into the things where you've got players coming out like David saying, "Oh, the Blues are really going to be really good this year."
I hate that.
Yeah, yeah. Connor McDavid's still a young player in the NHL. He's not a GM.
He's making a player out of Ratty though. You see the Ratty stats?
I have not.
Ratty leads the NHL in scoring in the preseason. 7 assists. McDavid second, and the other guy on their line is third. McDavid, top 3 scorers in the NHL preseason is Edmonton's top line.
Let's see what happens in a month.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. It's preseason. Doesn't mean a whole lot. Ratty played well for us in the preseason too.
I was say, didn't TJ Henzik once lead the preseason in points?
Did he really?
I think so. I could be off.
So that's I thought that article was pretty all encompassing in its findings. I thought that was pretty good. So if you get a chance to check it out, if you're a subscriber to The Athletic, it's on their website, and it's by Dan Luskevich. Lucision. It could be Luskevich. You don't know. There's too many S's and Z's and Y's and N's in that name. It could be pronounced any which way. You don't know.
It's Kurt.
So check it out. It's the 2018-2019 NHL season preview for the St. Louis Blues. And like I said, they predict the Blues to get 91.5 points. Hopefully they're about at least a half dozen more than that. What else we got? What else is in the news today? Oh yeah,
there's plenty, Kurt.
Yori Laterra is a drug lord, apparently, or drug czar, or
drug mule.
Drug mule. Yeah, Bill prefers the term drug mule. Yeah.
It better aligns with his skating ability.
Finnish authorities have raided a cottage owned by Jori Laterra in his home country of Finland. Laterra has denied any wrongdoing. 7 people have already been locked up due to the raid. Local outlets are saying the cops are focusing on 2 kilos of cocaine worth about $25,000 each. Officials have reportedly seized more than $700,000 in jewelry and other valuables and have more than 23 persons of interest in the case. Flyers GM and former NHL goalie Ron Hextall released a statement Wednesday morning saying, "We have spoken with Jori Lehtera and the league office regarding the reports out of Finland, and will reserve any further comment on the matter at this time," which is probably a smart thing to say. TMZ closes the article with, "Jori is a decent NHL player. He is in the middle of a 3-year, $14.1 million contract." I think TMZ's hockey department must have the same collective hockey IQ as the Blues Lounge. Decent player he is not. Boat anchor he is.
I think they're only measuring it by value of contract and what he earns, right?
Maybe, yeah. And the fact he is an NHL player. They should have just said Jori Lehtera is an NHL player.
Well, that is true.
That is true.
Some of the things I read today were that he was kind of borderline to make the team, given his 8 points last season.
Yeah, he has. I didn't check his numbers in the preseason, but I don't think it's very good.
Where did I read? I read somewhere. I think it was from our friend Steph Driver, who was on the show before. We need to have back on now because of these coming. Yeah, these thoughts coming out now. I know earlier in camp there was an injury or somebody was sitting out or something, and they put Jori Lehtera on the top line again, and everybody was saying, "Oh my God, please let this just be for preseason." And it's like, hey, that was the Blues for what, 3 years?
You know, I'm gonna, and this is gonna tick off some people, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The shoehorning Lehtera onto that top line reminds me of last season, the Blues trying to shoehorn Allen as the number 1 goalie.
Oh, man, you're gonna really make Lance upset.
Anyway, I love Lance.
I love Lance too. You can listen to Lance on the Let's Go Blues Radio Summer Interview Series.
Not at the same time, though.
I'm into that. So yeah, Jori Lehtera, that was a shocker. I was not expecting that from him because as the jokes have piled up, somebody on cocaine is usually very quick and can move quickly, and that's not Jori Lehtera. That is the exact opposite. So maybe he really isn't involved.
You do.
I somehow got my foot tangled in the court.
Okay. I heard clang, bop, slam.
I was trying to mimic Jeff's noise from earlier.
Gotcha.
Bill's actually like a swan. Like you just see him sitting there, but underneath the water, underneath the desk.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
His feet are 1,000,000 miles a minute.
Stop looking at me, Swan. So yeah, the first thing I thought of when I heard the Lehtera news this morning, other than like, wow, it's somebody tweeted out. So I'll take news I didn't expect to hear today for 1,000, Alex. But the first thing I thought of was Mike Danton and how that. Oh, okay, well, it's kind of the opposite situation for Blues fans because we acquired Mike Danton, and then there was the issue with him and the hired hitman and whatever, and basically in his career, and now we traded away Lehtera, and then he's got the issue with the allegedly or accused of, or not accused of, he's a suspect. No, he's a person of interest. He's not even a suspect. So it was people at his cottage. He wasn't there. So I mean, it could be a thing where he has, 14 houses across the globe, and he has no idea who's at his house, and he's renting it out. And it could be just people running a drug ring out of it. He may have nothing to do with it. So innocent until proven guilty. But I just thought that was weird news to start this Wednesday.
The comment that I made to you guys earlier when we were talking about it, and I'll repeat it here, was my first thought was, man, if he were to, if he is accused and allegedly and whatever we can say to where I'm not going to get sued, let's just say he goes to jail, the Blues obviously would, or the Flyers would terminate his contract. So my first thought was, man, the Blues could have just held on to him for a year and then terminated his contract and we would have been fine. But then I'm like, You know what? I'm actually still happy it turned out this way. Yes, you'll lose the draft picks, but hey, the Blues got Braden Shen. He was a hell of a pickup for last season.
Yeah, I all things considered, give me Shen. I'll take the known. I'll take the known. Who's I mean, is a good known. It's not like he's a he's a good third line player. No, he's a good center. Yeah, he's a 1B center. So, I'll take him every day. So we go from Laterra being a cocaine drug lord to Mike Keenan having cancer, which was announced today. Part of his treatment will include permanently implanting metal radiation seeds into his body, which form what I understand is a medical trial, which from what I understand is a medical trial that he qualified for. I know and we speak for everybody when I say we wish Iron Mike well, even though we have had our differences with Mike Keenan, Blues fans have. So, but we hope he makes a full recovery and beats this. Can you say beats this with prostate cancer without chuckling? Is that too soon?
Inappropriate?
Inappropriate? No.
I quit the show.
Beat cancer. And they said he caught it really early, so it's they're very optimistic about it. So that's good, and it's apparently it's very treatable.
So Lance from the Drop Podcast says they've been using the seeds in the UK for years, and they're just now starting to use them in the US.
What? That of all people, that if you had asked me, you know what, who do you think would know and have info about this kind of stuff, this kind of treatment, I would say ask Lance. Lance is the kind of guy that knows the obscure fact like that.
He does, but I'm sure it is common knowledge outside of the US.
Maybe. Yeah, I had never heard it before. But I think they're metallic, and so Mike Tyson, Mike Keenan said, I guess he really will be Iron Mike now.
Yeah, that's true.
And Lance says his wife had cancer. Oh, so
well, there you go.
So he would know. So some preseason stuff about the Blues. I'm gonna preface this by saying it's only preseason. Ty Ratty, like we said, leads the NHL in scoring, 7 goals, 3 assists, 10 points in 3 games played. 10 points in 3 games. On the McDavid line, who is second in the NHL with 7 points. Fabry.
Hey, wait a minute. Slow down, son.
Oh yeah, I'm clicking here. I got a lot of stuff to cover.
I was just going to add some relevant news. If the Ty Ratty leading the league is relevant, I also want to point out earlier in my NHL 18, Ryan O'Reilly scored 6 goals in the Stanley Cup Final. I feel like that is just as pertinent as Ty Ratty leading the league in preseason.
6 goals in the finals, or in the
in one game.
Oh wow!
I beat the Washington Capitals 6-3. All goals from Ryan O'Reilly.
It's always impressive when somebody brags about their video game hockey capability.
I'm just saying, if we're talking about Ty Ratty leading the preseason, might as well mention my NHL 18 experiences.
What level were you playing on?
All right, fine. I pulled the other team's goalie, and I had the second player controller on. That's what happened.
He still gave up 3 goals.
I passed it my own net multiple times.
So the young kids are kind of leading the way for scoring for the Blues in the preseason so far. Sammy Blais is tied for the league team lead in the scoring with 4 goals, no assists in 4 games played. Kyrou also has 4 points, but it's on 1 goal and 3 assists. And Thomas has 3 points. So top 3 in scoring for the Blues in preseason: Blais, Kyrou, and Thomas, which is hopefully a thing of the now and future for the Blues as far as leading the team in scoring goes. Fabry, multiple he's got a groin injury now, and he's currently out. It's not knee related, so I guess that's good, but no injuries is good. But I guess
they said I like the thing. I think it was Rutherford tweeted out that it was a level 1 groin strain, And so many people were saying, wait a minute, is one the best or the worst you can get?
Is it like golf where one is good, or is it?
Real quick, I just, and again, we don't have to go over every one of these points, but it's just so funny to think about where we were at when the season ended last year. We had our last show before the summer interview series started, and we were all talking about, well, hey, next year, Kyrou, Thomas, these guys are shoo-ins to make the team. And, even Sammy Blay was kind of thrown in there because he had a cup of coffee with the team last year. But we didn't foresee this summer coming with the Blues that these guys are not shoo-ins at all. And they're trying their asses off to make this team. And it's encouraging because I do think that one of them definitely will make it. I think at least two make the roster. I could see that being Kyrou. I can see it being Blay too, but man, I tell you what, Kyrou, that guy is just he's got some skill. Not that they all don't, but he's got some skill that I think if you could throw him on your fourth line, you could get some scoring there, and I think that would be really interesting to see where Mike Yeo goes with this fourth line to start the year.
I think with Fabry being hurt and with Shoshnikov having a concussion and having not played, he hasn't played in the preseason at all, has he? So I think those are two guys that you had kind of, you had Shoshnikov penciling on the fourth line, you had Fabry penciling on the third line, second line. So those two guys are out. I think that, and with Kyrou playing well, I think he makes the team.
Well, he gets at least his
seven,
9
games, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason not to do that at this point just with the injury to Fabry. I mean, Soshnikov. I think he's been so injury prone over his career. I don't ever want to even pencil him in.
It's always a concussion too.
Yeah,
his brain is gonna be mush before too long, man.
Yeah,
scary. So the Blues and Caps game last night. Did either of you guys get a chance to watch any of it? And it was on NHL TV.
I saw your tweet way too late.
But it was Jake Allen's only start so far in the preseason due to his back spasms that he was suffering from. He allowed 2 goals on 21 shots. Johnson made 14 saves on 15 shots. When Johnson played the third period, Allen played the first 2. I caught bits and pieces of the game, most of the first and second period. Allen looked okay. He looked about the same as usual in his first action in the preseason after recovering from his back spasms, I guess. You can't expect too much. It's his first game, first action. But honestly, if you want me to grade him, I would, based on what I saw, in the goal in the first period, I thought he was back in his net a bit. It was a bang play, but I don't think he challenged the play at all. And I didn't care for his overall play. He made a few really nice saves, but I thought he was overplaying pucks a bit. He was sliding too far out of his net, and which was his problem last year. He overplayed and slid out too far and slid side to side and couldn't get back. That happened a number of times last night. So
you're telling me Jake Allen was not in position?
Jake Allen was not in position.
That's been him over his entire career. That's his problem.
And Lance says the first goal is Prickle's fault. I disagree. And we can talk about this later if we open it up. But I thought Parayko did a good job staying between the forward. Don't know who it was. Between the forward and the goal. Parayko cut him off. The forward tried to cut left, and the puck kind of bounced. And the who had the puck lost the handle a bit. And Parayko was between his player and the goal, and the puck kind of squirted free to the trailing player who scored on it was a really nice shot. It was, but Allen wasn't challenging the play at all. So could Parayko play it differently? Maybe. I thought he was fine though. He stayed between the forward and the goal, and he cut him off. And the trailer came in and shot. Who Parayko didn't have a chance to get to. So, but maybe Lance saw it differently.
Yeah, he says, Ray agrees with him. Says Colton should have played the body that close to the goal.
Yeah,
if Colton would have played the body, though, because he's just saying that would have made the play better. But
here's the deal with that though. I saw Ray's comment last night, and I made a point to. I was like, well, I didn't really catch that, so I went back and watched it again on the replay, and I didn't think Parayko was in a position to where he should have played the body in that case necessarily. I mean, he did pretty much what he was expected to do in that play. He cut the guy off. He stayed between him and the goal, and but to be honest, with at that point in the play, if he takes the body, he's taking himself out of the play too, with that guy trailing the play. So I think it was a really nice play by Washington, to be honest. The only thing I wish would have happened differently on that play was Allen challenging the play a little bit more, so he was back on his goal a little bit. And the Washington commentators even made that comment too, that they thought he was back on his goal a little bit, and he was. But like I said, could Parayko have taken? Maybe if Parayko does, knock him off the puck physically, and the goal never happens, maybe. But I don't think that's something that you can pin on Parayko that much in that play necessarily.
Something we all need to remember, and we'll probably get to this maybe with social media fails. It's preseason. I don't care. We said this kind of with Ty Ratty. I don't care if Jake Allen gave up 10 goals last night. We'll see what happens in the regular season. These games are not meant for to look at the stats and to look at, okay, who scored and who, which of these veterans played well. It's more to get the veterans in condition. Unless your name's Jake Dotchin, which that is a hilarious story. You guys followed that at all? No? Jake Dotchin? No? Tampa Bay Lightning showed up to camp 20 pounds overweight. That's Keith Kachuk area. Yeah.
Territory.
But yeah, I mean, it's he's been released and told, hey, come back when you lose 20 pounds. So it's
your baby.
Yeah, basically. But no, for the veterans, I don't really care. What preseason's mostly meant for the coaching staff and for any talent analysis is to decide of these young guys who's going to make the team, who's the best option for a call-up, who should be sent back to juniors. So at the end of the day, and I know you guys agree, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I know there's a lot of people that have been concerned with the Blues' play. Save it for the regular season. It doesn't matter right now.
I don't care. I mean, yeah, it's fun to see him win. I'd love to see the Blues win. I'd love to score a bunch of plays, a bunch of key guys score goals. You want to see do well. I get it. And it's disappointing if you don't see that, because you want to see that. But yeah, in the end, it doesn't. That's not what the coaches are necessarily looking for. They're looking for how players are playing within the system, and how they're working with it, how they're gelling with their teammates. And usually that stuff, translates into production on the ice and great chances and goals. And actually, the Blues' overall play last night was very good in what I saw. The Blues outchanced Washington. They outplayed Washington. They just had a tough time beating Copley. Copley was very good. I mean, which is a broken record and motivated, right, to make the team and to play against the Blues. 2 reasons. So probably more to make the team. But the Blues' best chance I saw came when Kyrou and Thomas were in 2-on-0. And Thomas passed to Kyrou on right wing, and he was, I think when he got the puck, he had a better shot at beating him if he one-timed it, but it's kind of a tough one-timer coming from when the puck comes across your body like that. So, and he kind of corralled it and shot, and he was in too tight and couldn't get it over the top of Copley. So, and Copley flashed the glove. So it is what it is. But I thought the Blues, from what I saw, they played really well, but they just weren't putting stuff on the scoreboard. So even though they played really well, I thought the chemistry was kind of choppy in a way. It didn't seem to click as well as it should have. The 5-on-3 didn't look that great. So hopefully that stuff that can get worked out. Although, it's disappointing when the 5-on-3 kind of sucks. And last season, the power play was so bad. You're hoping that you'd see some better things. But again, like we said, preseason, no big deal. Do it when it counts.
And to kind of add to our conversation, again with the YouTube chat, Lance says, talking about Colton Parayko, he was out of position more than an amateur porn star.
I'm gonna politely disagree with Lance. I think Parayko was in a good position, but okay.
I do like the porn
star.
Yeah, good stuff. And then Lance also says there's fault to go around. Preseason doesn't matter at all. And CBS Sports still shows Ratty in a Blues uniform on the stats page. I didn't know that. That's kind of funny.
And speaking of CBS Sports, I had to go. I had to go to CBS unless I missed it on NHL.com. I had to go to CBSSports.com to find the preseason scoring and standing, the records for the teams.
No,
and
you're right. Yep.
NHL.com doesn't have jack shit for preseason scoring or standings. Which makes no sense. I was just curious before the show started. I want to see, what the Blues point totals were of different players, and I couldn't. It wasn't on there. I'm like, what the hell? CBS Sports has it, but the NHL.com doesn't have it. That's ridiculous.
I remember when I was writing an article years ago, and I was a relevant person. Probably really wasn't that relevant, but anyway, when I was in the media, and I remember I was on NHL.com. It was before a game started. And I asked Rutherford, "Hey man, where do you get preseason stats?" And he just laughed. And I'm like, "Really though? Like I'm trying to write something and I need to know." And he goes, "I think your only bet is to Google it." And that was the only place I could find it was CBS Sports.
How stupid is that? That's dumb.
That's ridiculous. I can see after the preseason's over, but during the preseason, that should be way more accessible.
I agree. Real quick, with the I was at the game against Columbus of the night when the Blues won. I think it was 3-0. The Enterprise Center remodeling. Have you guys been there yet? Had a chance to see it at all?
No, I'll be going on Friday.
Okay. I will be there too. God, the okay. First off, I think it looks really good. Now, whether or not the concessions, how they look, are great. The concourse looks nice. The special areas are nice. There are a lot of gray tones and neutral tones, which, God forbid, if Blues fans don't have something to complain about, they'll complain about something. And it's just people. Oh my God, it's like there's too much gray. It doesn't scream St. Louis Blues at me anywhere. I'm like, come on.
Purple did though.
Yeah, right, exactly. The big, huge purple wall they had for how many years after the thing was built? All the purple seats they just got rid of. I mean, or pink, purple, whatever they were. It's like, I mean,
mauve.
Come on.
Mauve.
So I'm like, the gray looks nice. Okay, there are other events that are in the Enterprise Center than the Blues games, and the gray is actually, it goes with everything. It doesn't say it doesn't. It just, I don't know. It's weird that people complain about that kind of thing. But it looks good. Now, granted, when I was there, they only had bottled soda. There was no fountain soda, which was, I guess that's preseason thing. Which I remember that happening last year too. But it's just that's irritating. Oh, we only have this and this on the menu. Oh, okay. Why?
Were the concessions fully staffed? Because I think that's really what drives it.
Maybe
they don't
Maybe
broadcast the games because then they have to pay the broadcasters. They don't
Here's the thing,
staff
though.
the concessions because they don't want to pay the concessionaires. This team is a very low, like the profit margin on this team is so thin. They have to be very, very, very cheap.
Here's the deal, though.
Everything.
I get it. I get that. But here's the deal. Why not during the preseason, unless there's some kind of contract where they have to use, Kelly and Pang for the broadcast or someone that through Fox Sports for the broadcast, get a local college broadcaster, aspiring broadcaster to do the game for a resume. Mm-hmm. Or I mean, why do you think that would be good PR with the community? That'd be the fans would love it. That's a win-win situation. And Panger and Kelly weren't doing the game anyway, so I don't know.
You still have to pay all the crew, but
no, you don't. I mean, but
set it up to where it's the entire crew, right? Your solution. Get college kids to do it.
Yeah, the same thing.
And it's all an intern opportunity.
Less cameras are fine too. I mean, I think a lot of fans would settle for
the Columbus solution,
2 or 3 cameras, just or like the
soundless camera,
kind of like the solution they had for the tournament, the prospects tournament in Michigan, in Traverse City, where they just had one camera panning back and forth, and there was no broadcast team, but there was a camera. So you got and it was streamed. You don't have to put on TV. Stream it. Stream it on the Blues site. It seems like there's a way they could do it, and it wouldn't cost that much money, and it'd be good PR. Get some sponsors to pay for it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay.
Real quick, I want to throw out something Lance said here, and something I've said for. It's ridiculous that this is not something that's not real. Preseason tickets should be discounted. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Preseasons are the same price as regular season?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's absurd.
I got my tickets for free.
Yeah, so did I.
And my tickets for Friday are free.
Yeah, me too.
So what? 5K and Kids Club?
Both 5K. Transferred. Yeah. So it's
Wait a second. You're gonna run the 5K twice?
No, they're transferred from. Don't worry about it. You could get as many tickets as you wanted. Well, not as many as you wanted, but when I signed up for the 5K, I could go. I assumed 2 tickets. I don't know why I assumed that. But when I went on to actually claim the tickets, it said, "How many do you want?" And I was like,
150.
Can I get 4? And it gave me 4. I'm like, huh. I should ask for 10. But I didn't try to. I didn't know how many you could ask. I'm sure there's a max, but maybe it was 4. But so I don't. I'm shocked that as many folks were there that if they're not discounted. And I guarantee you, most of those people didn't pay for those tickets or paid to. I don't know why would you pay $30-$40 to go to a preseason game?
Yeah, the 1 year I was excuse me, I'm having a hard time speaking at this point. I've been up
barrel
since,
aged.
No, I've been up since 4:45 this morning. So it's been a long day. But the 1 year I was a season ticket holder, the fact that we had to divvy up preseason tickets as part of the entire thing with the group that I was involved in, it just made me angry. Yeah. And one guy got stuck with 2 preseason games.
Oh,
that was bad.
So Lance said he paid $179 for club tickets.
For preseason?
And it's the same as his season ticket offer from his ticket rep. So I guess So Lance, you went to a preseason game and paid $180 for one club ticket, or was it multiple tickets?
Don't ask him now. We'll have him on later.
Okay.
But yeah, I've said the same thing. I mean, it should be like $15. Sit wherever you want. You just want people to get in the building, right?
Sure. And then you could have more concessions. You could have it. You could actually make money at the event.
It's insane. I've said that for years.
Yeah. The third jersey unveils. The various teams are doing them. There's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 so far. Are there more coming? Or is that it?
I thought it was half the league was getting them.
Okay, well,
so a couple more maybe.
Aesthetics on Jersey Watch has 13 up here, and I shared them with you guys. I should have tweeted them out.
You can after the show for those podcasts.
I will tweet them out after the show for those listening later. And but yeah, go to aesthetics.com/Jersey Watch, and you can check out the jerseys that they have if you want to look at them all in one place. Real quick, give me a yay or nay on whether you like or dislike the jersey. Anaheim.
Yes.
Hate.
I'm gonna say hate. Don't like.
Too much orange. Way too much orange. I gotta get back here too.
Oh, wait. I was looking.
Anaheim, there's no orange.
No. I was thinking of the ones they did last year.
Okay.
It's the original Mighty Ducks jersey. Don't like it.
Okay. The Coyotes.
Love.
I was never a fan of the Southwestern style mosaic Picasso like coyote.
Yeah,
don't like it. I never liked it. I
like it better than I like the Ducks jersey, but yeah,
I totally get the nostalgic part of it. The fans of the Coyotes right away. That's their first jersey. I get it. I understand. But for me, not a fan of the team. Hated the jersey at the time when they were came into the league. I don't like it now.
What player do you think of when you look at that jersey?
I think of Hobby Bullen.
Hobby Bullen? Yeah. I think Teppo Newman.
Okay.
I think of Hobby Bullen, but Teppo Newman would actually probably be second for me.
Flames.
Love.
It's the classic Flames jersey.
I love it.
That should be their home jersey.
Right.
I think of yeah, that should be. That's one of the
Al McInnes, Theo Fleury,
yes,
Mike Vernon,
yes,
who I hated when he was a
Joe
Flame.
Mullen. That's still a better pill to swallow for me. But I think Calgary is one of the teams that consistently screws up their jerseys for me. They're
Mhm.
always terrible.
Mhm.
I like this one. This one's fantastic. I've always liked this one. So and Lance said it looks like the 80s jersey, the late 80s jersey, and it is. It's this. It's
Yeah,
a throwback.
it's Joe Newendike.
Hurricanes.
8.
I don't know. I kind of like it better than their current home.
I like the color scheme. I hate the logo, the image on the chest.
I don't know. I guess for the franchise though, for me, it's not green enough and not whale enough.
No, and kind of to Bill's point, I've never liked the Hurricanes jerseys ever. So it's hard for me to really say I like anything they put out.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of their logo either. I think it's I know what it is. I just don't like it. Colorado.
Love it.
I love it.
It's possibly my favorite out of all of these.
Okay, I don't like it. If I'm going either or, the shoulder is screwed up for me. I don't.
Yeah, the shoulder like overall design. Yeah, the shoulders suck, but
I like the logo on the chest. I love
the
that.
logo is so much better than the long-standing Avs jersey, which it was
the
A and
Snow
I'm
A.
trying to remember how it was described during the Patrick Waugh era. Somebody said it looked like a collision between a Dairy Queen and the Rolling Stones tour bus.
I've never heard that before.
I thought that was great. It's like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I'm actually, Kurt, now that you say that, I'm with you. The sleeves, the logo look solid, but yeah, the shoulders are a little So I'm gonna take away love and say that I like.
Oh, well, that wasn't the question, but okay. Columbus.
Blah.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that logo, that weird
Cannon?
I don't know. Yeah, the cannon. I know that's part of their quote unquote history, but I just think it looks weird on a jersey, so I'm not a fan.
You liked it, Bill?
Mm.
You like no?
No.
I see. When I'm saying I like or dislike, it's got to be the entire thing for me. If one thing is off, it ruins it for me. And I don't like the logo.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the jersey is nice. I like it, but it's just got a. I don't like the logo. There's nothing ugly about it. I just don't like it. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, the logo is a good shoulder patch.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
agree with
about
that. It is a good shoulder patch. I think maybe it's too much going on, too much writing, too much detail. I don't know.
And
You're right, Bill. That'd be like if the Blues used the trumpet as a logo.
right.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
I love it.
It's classic.
I love it. Yeah, it's good.
Like it.
I
Same
like-
thing with the Devils.
I like everything about it. Devils too. Yeah, I like that
Yep.
one.
Love Devils.
And I look at that and I think of Kirk Muller, Brendan Shanahan, Sean Burke.
Yes. Philadelphia.
Okay, so this jersey to me looks like you've probably gone to like Walmart or Sam's. And Bill's laughing because I think he knows where I'm going with this. And you see those like long sleeve shirts that they try to pass off as jerseys.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what I think of when I see the Flyers third jersey. It looks like something you would see on like a wall at Walmart that's like Flyers jersey $10.99.
Yes. That is so perfectly put. I agree with that totally.
Let's see. San Jose. So Philip, I'm gonna say I can't tell you why. I don't like it. Maybe too much black. I love the Flyers logo. It's fantastic. I've always loved it, and I'm glad they went with that one for this one. But I don't know what it is about it. I don't like all the black. For some reason, it doesn't do it for me. Even though the San Jose one, which is next, I love.
Yeah.
Even though it's got more black, I think. than
Yeah.
Philadelphia's. But
Yeah,
it's
no.
weird.
So
It's the collar. It's the neck. I think if the neck were orange in the Flyers jersey,
Mm.
it'll work for me.
Right. It's just there is too much black, and I don't know. Just it doesn't do it for me.
Are you talking Flyers or Sharks, Bill?
Flyers.
Okay.
Yeah, Sharks jersey. That's brilliant.
I think for the Flyers, it's the arms. I think the arms, it's just the stripe, the orange stripe. It looks plain and bland.
Yeah.
Whereas the Sharks, if we're comparing, they've got the neckline, which is beautiful, and then just the stripes and the black and green, or the black and teal for me. I think it's just a nice look on the rink, and the modified Sharks logo from now compared to 18, 17 years ago, I love the way that they've redeveloped that logo. I thought the one back in the day was just kind of lazy looking, like, oh, it's a shark fighting a stick. And I know it's the same thing now, but the color scheme's a little different. The shark looks a little more fierce, and I just think that makes for a nice logo, and then it just complements the rest of that jersey well.
It's a modernized version of that logo. They did it well, and I like it. And I said, and the difference in the two jerseys for me, the Philadelphia and San Jose, is the neck. And I think that the black and blue works better than the black and orange on these jerseys for me. So next, the Blues jersey, which
I think we've covered that
Yeah.
ad nauseum.
I said,
it was the right call to go with that jersey.
yeah. And I think that the one thing I didn't like about the Winter Classic jersey was the neck, the neckline. It was that solid yellow, and it was and I said they need to change that, and they did, and it's fantastic. It's perfect. So
Yeah, I know we talked about this the last time the three of us were together, but yeah, that's a beautiful jersey, one of the best looking ones in the league.
Washington,
Love it.
Yeah, I love that look.
It's classic.
It's a classic. What is that? Late '80s look.
early '90s. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. I like the stars along the sleeve. I think that's a nice look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like this one a lot. It's throwback, classic. Yeah, I'm trying to find something I don't like, and I like it all. And Winnipeg.
Hate it.
Me too. I hate it.
Awful. Awful.
Right. To me, it's they have nowhere to go but up from here. So whatever they'll can it after this year, and they'll be able to sell it to the 35,000 people in Winnipeg the year after that, which is impressive that there's 35,000 people there, and half of them are season ticket holders. So.
Well, and again, this jersey to me just looks lazy. It's a lazy jersey, and it's just Jets written in cursive with stripes. It's not a good look. What they need to do, and I don't understand why they didn't, go back to the old Winnipeg Jets look. Do something with that logo, modernize it a bit. This looks like something that's like you go to a men's league and it's like, oh, okay, there's that Jets team and that's their jersey. I mean, it's
the people are saying, oh, but you didn't see the jet that's in the logo. It's the T is crossed with the crossing of the T is a
way too understated.
It's way too understated. No one sees it unless it's pointed out. So, and I agree. It's a plain Jane. Doesn't have any historical references. You're not going throwback. You're not going modern. It's a lazy men's league jersey.
Yeah. To me, that's the most NBA looking NHL jersey now.
That's a good point. And Ray says there is a plane. Right. But I don't think anybody cares about the plane.
There is a plane, but it's not like the Milwaukee Brewers jersey. That's like, do you realize there's an M and a B in that?
No.
No, this
MB in a glove.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay. And
I'm confused real quick. In the chat right now, Ron Finger has joined us, and he says, wow, Peter Dinklage is a Blues fan. And Ray jumped in and says, no. He's talking about something else. And he says, who is the midget then? Who's he talking about?
that you're guess is as good as mine.
I mean, I've been told, unfortunately, because I love Peter Dinklage, that I kind of look like him, and it makes me feel weird about it because he's a midget. But I don't know if he's talking about me, but you know what? I'll take it as a compliment.
Oh, he's probably talking about you.
That's fine.
I think he's a comedian, so
I'll take it.
you should laugh. Supposed to be funny.
And so some more from the chat. Ray asked if we saw the plane, which we talked about. He says, I'm not fond of the logo, but there is a plane, and it just doesn't look right at all. Which Ray Standifer of bluesrants.com, right?
Yes.
Ray, yeah, I'm with you. It's just not a good look.
I'm tweeting out the link to join us.
Oh, we're going live, folks.
There we go. Doing it live.
You must be in preseason form to join the show tonight.
We
Do not make sense.
That's not something. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not something you hear too often. You must be in preseason form to join us tonight. So yeah, if you want to jump on and talk some hockey with us, what we talked about, want to tell us how stupid we are, or bring up something else to talk about, feel free to do so. The link has been tweeted out at LGB Radio is the Twitter account. So and I guess while we're waiting for that, the Flyers' new mascot, Gritty.
It could. The timing of the Laterra news and the Gritty introduction was that last night or the night before. Like it's like the best. The meme that I saw all day on Twitter was, coincidence. I think not.
Well, because somebody was saying that. So your Laterra is being investigated for in a cocaine ring. Okay, distraction. they bring out Gritty.
Gritty, the coked out mascot.
Jeez. Whatever. Maybe he'll be awesomely hilarious.
I think it's a she. Isn't it supposed to be a she?
Is it supposed to be a she?
I don't know.
And I feel sexist.
That was kind of the feel I got from Twitter.
I'm sorry I assumed he. If it's a, I don't know. Maybe it'll be a hilariously weirdly hilarious, and it'll work. But man, it looks awkward to me.
So my favorite thing about this, obviously the jokes by Yuri Laterra have been great. The evolution of the Jakub Voracek that people have said,
yeah,
which is funny. But the best part for me was his appearance. I think it was last night. Actual appearance. He ate it on the ice. Did you guys see that?
I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, it was head over feet ate it.
And he shot somebody in the back with the t-shirt gun. That was pretty nice too.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do social media fails real quick here. Lance has joined us, and we'll get to him real quick. But we're gonna do I want to run through this real quick, and then we can just be done with our outline. And we can just talk with Lance. So the Blues social media fails from the Blues Lounge this week, referring to the wooing going on in preseason games, which I was there against Columbus, and the goddamn woos were all over the place for 10 minutes straight in the third period or second period. Wouldn't stop. 10 minutes off and on. It was for no reason. There was nothing that prompted it. No good play on the ice that prompted it. Was just wooing, and it's just like, son of a bitch. So it was annoying. And it's, you know what? And somebody said, well, if you don't like the woo, don't do it. And I'm like, well, yeah, you know what? I don't like kazoos either. But if someone's behind me blowing it for 10 minutes in a game, I'm going to get pissed off and annoyed.
What was the thing in the World Cup, the last World Cup? It was the vuvuzelas, right?
Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't mind those. I don't know why. Maybe because they're not as, I don't know. I can't explain what annoys the piss out of me. I don't know. So referring to the wooing going on in preseason games, Brian Royce, not the Brian Royce I know apparently, said people who woo should be kicked in the nuts. And the replies to this were kind of humorous. Is and so 10,000 Ric Flair woo gifts follow, which is to be expected. And the one guy says, "Don't like it, don't do it," which I made a comment about. And another person said, Brent Huggins says, "Take the woo any day over the stupid wave at the cards game." You're wrong. I'm not a big fan of the wave either, but wooing is much worse.
They're both bad.
Jason Nichols said, "I had an older lady turn around at a cards game and ask me if I'd stop clapping so loud. I said, no, clap, 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 clap. Go home if you're not there to energize the team, or at least don't bother the fans that are." Newsflash, the woos don't energize the team at all.
No.
Players polled about it say they hate it. So you're not energizing the team. You're annoying the team. So don't think you're doing anything to energize the team by wooing in the stands.
Right. And it's not original.
No.
It started it started in Raleigh, and then Boston took it over, and it's just disgusting.
Well, I think it was Philly that they actually out of nowhere, I think it was Claude Giroux just came out and was like, "This has got to stop. Stop doing the woos. It's disrespectful and nobody likes it." And a couple other players echoed his sentiment, but more teams just keep adopting it. And I get that the fans like it, which is annoying, but if the players I know that I bitched last year about some of the stuff that the players said about, stop booing Jake Allen, stop doing that. Okay, we're the fans. We can do whatever the hell we want. The fact that teams encourage this kind of behavior is asinine to me.
Like November 3rd, the wrestling night the Blues are going to have. I am not going to that game.
Right. So I think, I don't know. I've been thinking we need one of our things to sell in the LGB shop be a Venn diagram where it is the intersection of hockey and wrestling is not us. Like we are not there.
Brilliant. Yes, please. I will buy 3 of those.
I don't get it.
And the last
ridiculous. I'll buy 10.
The last one here is Tony O'Rourke says, "Rednecks do redneck things. Good luck stopping it." I'm like, that is a perfect example of what's going on. It's like, you're not going to stop it by complaining about it. It's just going to get worse. And I'll tell you what, it will be better if you have to woo. If you know what, okay, be an organizer. Get your whole section together and say, okay, on the count of 3, we're all going to woo real loud, and do it once and be done with it. And then maybe once a period. I'm fine with that. But it's the whole 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of just constant wooing. It's just like, oh my God, come on. It's ridiculous.
And I'll say too, last year I went on a float trip out in Salem, Missouri, and a guy I was with started doing that jokingly at the campsite, and other campsites started doing it. And so every time we did it, somebody else, another campsite would do it, and it would continue on. That was fun. It was, we're doing redneck things. It was fun. But at a hockey game, no, please stop.
So that's yeah. So we've got Lance from the Drop Podcast on the show, and I do believe Ray from Blues Rants has joined us as well. How are you guys?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I'm not going to speak for Bill or Jeff, but I'm doing quite fine.
Well, let me tell you about my day.
I saw so many numbers today. I can't handle it.
Oh, we all know Bill's a bouncer at on the east side.
So I know.
I can see that.
I know why Lance is here. Lance wants to tell me how wrong I am.
No, no. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
I thought you were going to say everybody.
The only opinion you're not entitled to is if you say you love the woo. I don't agree with that. That's not an opinion. It's just fact. It sucks. And it would be better for them to do the Macho Man Randy Savage. You go, oh yeah,
that was pretty good, Lance.
I'm the Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, yeah. It'd be better if people would do that, because I've had enough of the woo. I'm about ready just to kick everybody in the nuts that does it.
Did you?
The parents have the little kids doing it, and hey, it's a free country. but could you maybe sign language it or
Did-
something like that?
Watch the game at all last night, Lance?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear the wooing last night?
I heard a little bit of it.
Yeah, I heard it on the broadcast last night too. So
I
I
muted
thought
it and
most
just
people
watched
were
it.
at the Cardinal game.
and I think it was they're probably going back and forth. Busch Stadium would do it, and then Enterprise Center did it.
Great.
No, I have a guy I work with got tickets and took his kid to his first Blues game last night, and and so he did ask to start playing hockey.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
he plays every,
That's good.
but yeah, the subject of the wooing came up, and he's like, "What the hell is that?"
It's an abomination.
It that is the best word for it.
It's not funny either. I mean,
It's
people think
not.
it's hilarious. It's not funny.
It's
It's
not.
just there's nothing funny about it.
Mm,
Anyway,
don't get it. Don't get it.
so Lance, you joined first. What's on your mind?
I wrote an article on this on sportsblog.com. People get so worked up over preseason. And preseason, it's preseason. Yeah, you can see some things. You know, everybody expects these young players to do great when they make a mistake. Did the Blues over evaluate Kyrou? Did the Blues over evaluate Thomas? Is Sammy Blais really an NHL player? Calm down, guys. They're young. They're still learning. Even guys like Bozak and guys like O'Reilly, they've never played in this system. They've never played with these players. It's the preseason. I enjoy the passion from the fans, but calm down. Preseason is preseason. It's there to get the kinks out. You know, it's there to see what you have. It's there to see which line combinations work well, which ones don't, which guys are going to make the team, which guys are going to be sent down to juniors, to AHL, whatever. And that's all it's there for. It's to get the guys in good shape for the veterans. It's to show the young players what it's like to be in the NHL. And when I see somebody just start ripping people or just start praising people, it just really gets to me. I try to be even keeled about it when it comes to the preseason.
What about those who get so excited about? What I find semi-interesting is when the day of the day before the very first preseason, the day of the very first preseason game, where there were a number of folks you saw, social media stuff.
Yep.
It was like it was a home opener. They were so excited. They couldn't stop talking about, oh, I'm so glad hockey's back. I'm like, wait, hold on. Hockey's not back. This is preseason. This does not count.
Yeah, a preseason hockey is not real NHL hockey. And as you guys were saying earlier, you shouldn't have to pay full price for that. You know, I think you could get a lot of people in there, a lot of people that had never been to a Blues game if you discounted the tickets. The NFL will never learn that. I had Rams season tickets for years and paid the same price for preseason as I did for regular season. The NHL is doing the same thing. Bettman and the owners want the money. Discount the tickets, discount the concessions, get as many people in the stands, and maybe you'll start selling some more 10-game, 12-game packages and maybe a few season ticket packages. You'll gain more fans.
Use it as a loss leader, right?
Sure.
You know, just get people in the door, get people like I said, my buddy from work took his kid to his first ever hockey game because free tickets. Let that happen. It's preseason, fill the building. You know, what are you gonna lose?
Ray from Blues Rants.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Right now, I'm just kind of wondering what's on Mike Yo's mind. Obviously, he's got a lot of pieces to work with. I mean, almost too many. And Robert Thomas is on my mind. I'm wondering if it's best to just send him back down, and obviously just because he'll get a bunch of playing time down there. But it's just a shame that he's not AHL.
But Ray, what does he have to prove? If you send him back down to juniors, he's played with those guys. He's proved he can play in that league. I say give him a chance in the NHL. He might struggle, but I think getting learning experience, even if he only plays in 55 games, it's better than sending him down to juniors, at least in my mind, because there is no option for the AHL. But I do see where you're coming from.
right? There's just too much risk of him going down to juniors and be either, being so dominant that he becomes lazy in his approach to preparing for the game,
Sure.
or risk of injury.
Right.
Let him play with them. Keep him here.
Yeah, I think at the very least, I think what we touched on earlier was that they'll get the 7 or 9 games, whatever it is, before they burn the year on the first year on the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he'll at least get that. And it's the whole age thing where he, like we said, he's not eligible for AHL. So that's a huge part of why I think it's his spot to lose. I think he's got to play pretty poorly to not be with his team.
Yeah, and I
think it's.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's really important that he's around this roster. I think he can obviously learn a lot from these guys, and sending him down, as you had stated, would maybe hinder him in many ways. But at the same time, if he's just outperformed at center, if Kyrou and Blais are just continually progressing, I mean, Thomas doesn't really have anywhere to go but there. So, I mean, it's just on my mind. I want to see him on the club, and I think he will be, but I think that it might not be the best move with some of the pieces that we do have for the actual club. I think it might be the best move for him, but that's just something that has crossed my mind recently.
Sure. Right. And the thing about it is, Ray, is that if you keep him, maybe he starts playing better. Sammy Blais played well, Kyrou's played well, but as I said earlier, this is preseason. What are these guys going to look like 20 games in to a regular NHL season? The game's going to be sped up a little bit. They're going to see some things they didn't see in preseason. Maybe Kyrou doesn't look as good. Maybe Sammy Blais looks like he did last year. I think it's a tough decision for Mike Yeo, but it's a decision he's got to make, and I think he's got to keep him on the team.
Yeah. I think when it comes to those three guys, Blais, Kyrou, and Thomas, as well as Sammy Blais playing, he's the guy that you can send to the AHL and say, keep it up. We're going to send Kyrou back. When he goes back, you're the first call up. Keep him motivated that way.
I'd like to see that. I'd love to see that. I think that Kyrou could do obviously very well in the AHL and not miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you there.
We have Aaron, who is joining us as well. Aaron, where are you joining us from?
South Dakota, actually.
South Dakota.
So, buddy,
welcome,
yeah.
Welcome to the show, sir. What's on your mind?
Not a ton usually. Hard to.
Hey, he's honest.
Will Thomas be on the team to start the season?
I think what would be, I guess, optimal would be Thomas start fourth line, work his way up, play some power play, maybe some penalty kill time, special teams. Blais right now looks like the Fabry sit-in while he's figuring out his injuries and his fitness. Kyrou is he's playing his way onto the roster. It looks like hard to see games up here. Lots of blackout restrictions and stuff like that. But
really?
Just from what I gather and the score sheet itself, he looks like he's playing his way onto the roster, but he's the guy I think you could say easily is the easiest to just have in the AHL for the year.
Yeah, I think what Blais has going for him is that he played a bit with the team last year too, so he has some experience there. So
he had moments of brilliance last year.
He did. He played well,
and that's what I think his performance so far in the preseason is stoking that fire with the fans.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that he's gained a lot of trust from Mike Yeo. I mean, the way that he stepped in last year and was able to kind of understand the system. And obviously with him being a part of the Blues organization last year and, kind of playing it. Was he San Antonio last year? That whole AHL thing, that was just such a clusterfuck. But anyway, he still learned the Blues system really well in training camp, and he stepped right in and played well. We'll see if he can do the same thing this year. But yeah, I think he's earned the confidence of the. You look at Jordan Kyrou, Robert Thomas. They want to give those guys a chance, but they know what they can get out of Sammy Blais, and that he's going to step in and play on any line that they ask him to and do it well. And I think that he's a guy who's going to get a lot of looks up until Robbie Fabry comes back.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, with the injuries that they have right now, to I think a healthy Soshnikov. Man, I don't know, with the way that they're playing, that's hard to say. I think before preseason, I think I'll rephrase. Before the moves were made to bring in O'Reilly and Bozak and Perron, I think that they were penciling in Soshnikov on the fourth line this season. With the additions, though, and plus his injury issues, I think that is he can't start the season with the team right now.
Well, Kurt, is there such thing as a healthy Soshnikov? Because even when he was with the Marlies and the Maple Leafs, they wanted to keep him. They wanted to find some way to keep him, but he is so injured because of his physical style. I wish the guy was 6'3" and 225 pounds and played like that. He may not get so beat up. I tell you what, if he can get 60 games, 55 to 60 games, the Blues are doing well to get something out of him with that many games. But with his history, Kurt, what's he going to get? 35, 40 games?
Yeah, he's got a concussion again, which that's been his problem. And
how many?
And this is fifth or sixth.
He charges head in first and everything.
I know of at least 4.
Yeah, I think it's his fifth or sixth because he got a couple with the Marlies, and he got one when he was playing for the Maple Leafs too.
He had one with us last year.
Yeah,
he did. Yep.
So that's a huge red flag, and I don't, and I think even if he was healthy, he's probably not making the. Would you say makes the team? I mean,
he had 1 assist, 2 assists last year.
I think 2.
I liked him when he was. I mean, well, okay, I liked what he brought because he was a physical guy. And he created some things out there, and he was fun to watch play. He was an energy guy, but it's hurt so much, and he was always like in the ballpark, in the air, like on the verge of scoring a goal or getting a nice play, and it just didn't pan out. So I think I don't think his point production is necessarily indicative of how he played, but I based on the way that Kyrou and Sammy Blais played, I don't. That's a tough lineup for him to crack. And circling back to what Ray said was on Yo's mind, I think it's a good dilemma to have. I mean, it's a pretty deep roster. So,
it's a great problem to have. Either way we go, it's gonna obviously be entertaining this season, and the goalie situation. I'm a big Jake Allen fan. I respect everything you guys say due to his resume.
Thank you, Ray. I found somebody that agrees with me. Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm a big fan of his, and I pull for him, but I notice his struggles. I don't know what to think about them. I wish him the best. I know he can perform, and I want to see it happen, and I want to see the team really make it easier on him this year, and I think that could happen as well.
Yeah, and the thing about Jake is he's always been who he is. He can have his nights, even when he played for Team Canada in 2007, 2008, and then I believe again in 2009, 2010, went 4-0 one time and 6-0, 6-1 another time. He played well, but he had spots in there where he was inconsistent. His main problem, if you watch him, and most people can notice it, you didn't have to play goaltender like I did for years. He's out of position a lot, and that's what gets him in trouble. He's back in the goal a lot. He's out of position a lot. He is what he is. You're going to have nights where Jake Allen, it just shuts everybody down. Then you're going to have those nights where he lets in 2 or 3 goals where you're going to go, holy hell, how did he let that goal in? That's who he is. Could he become somebody different? Yeah, he's still 28, but he's getting close to where he's probably not going to be somebody different. He's going to be that guy that's going to slump for a couple weeks. You're going to have a good backup. And I think, contrary to what a lot of people think on social media, Chad Johnson's a pretty good backup. He's played for some pretty shitty teams, and he has actually looked pretty good.
Thank you, Lance.
Can you say, Lance, your description of Allen's ups and downs and what he brings to the table? Couldn't you say that about just about any goalie in the NHL? Because I mean, really, they're all world class goalies. So
no, I wouldn't say all of them are world class goalies. Some of them, now some of these guys don't belong in the NHL.
Curtis McElhaney.
Thank you.
My point being is that they're elite worldwide.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
Okay, that's my point. So every one of them is capable of playing well in stretches, or is stealing a game every once in a while. It happened to the Blues a lot.
Yeah, but is every one of them capable of being consistent 70% of the time? Because I think Jake, there were several games, especially a Flyers game I remember, where he played very well and they left him out to dry. There were several games where the team just left him out to dry.
Are you?
It's like it. Go ahead.
Are you saying that Jake Allen plays well 70% of the time?
I would say 70% of the time, 60 to 70% of the time, 30 to 40% no.
Based on his entire career, or just based on
on his entire career? I know you're going to disagree with me, but I mean, you could say there are goalies that don't play well 50, 60% of the time that start in this league. He's got skill. Is he the best? Is he in the top half of the league? No. Is he? I think he's a little above average, and when he's at his best, can be better than average. I don't think he's like the lowest 2 or 3 goalies in the league. Like, he had a 2.74 goals against. Is that great? No. Is it the worst in the league? No. Is it the top of the league? No. Is it the middle of the league? No. But it's not.
2.74 is actually one of the worst. It was like 38th best, which would put him as one of the worst starting goalies in the NHL last season.
Yeah, and that worst starting goalie also had one of the worst power plays in National Hockey League history to go with it. So, that makes a difference. If you give Jake a team that scores 2.8 goals a game, he wins more games.
No, that's not true. To start the season through December 7th, the Blues had the number 1 offense in the league, and Allen put up a 2.7. I think it was 2 GAA. It was right about the same number through that.
I remember it more like 2.54.
It was not. I looked it up, and I actually ran the numbers during a session. Someone had, maybe it was, I don't know if it was you on Twitter or not, but it was over 2.7 through December 1st or 7th, when the Blues had the top ranked offense in the league, and they were clicking, and his numbers were about the same. But nobody really made us think about it because the Blues were winning. And
Lance, Kurt has been preparing to grill you.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. But here's one thing you got to look at, Kurt. The series against Minnesota 2 years ago, would the Blues have won that without Jake Allen? No, they would not have won that series. They would have been out of it.
You know what, Lance? If Jake Allen were to play like he did in the series against Minnesota, I wouldn't say a bad word about him. But he's not that guy. He's not.
It's hard to judge that on that one series.
Here's the deal. Jake Allen was amazing in that series. He won that series for the Blues.
Yeah,
no question. But you know what? He's played 240, whatever it is, odd games in his career. That's 5 games, Lance. And that's what everyone goes to with Jake Allen. They always say, "Man, he was fantastic. Without Allen, the Blues don't win that series." You're right. That was 5 games. What percentage of his career is that? I mean, I'd love to get that Jake Allen back, but we haven't seen that Jake Allen in 3 years.
Okay, Kurt, his NHL career is 2.47 goals against.
Okay.
Is that terrible?
I don't care what the career is. The last 2-3 seasons he's been a subpar goalie. And I'm telling you that if we go into the playoffs with Allen playing subpar in net, we're not going anywhere.
So what you're telling me is, Kurt, that when Grant Fuhr in the 80s had goals against of 3.3, 3.2,
Yeah.
And then came to the Blues and had a couple good years of under 3.
Yeah.
Those were the only 3 good years, and Grant Fuhr was not a good goalie.
No, I didn't say that. You're comparing different eras, and I'm always talking about Grant Fuhr. Grant Fuhr played for the Oilers, and it was a run and gun style. The Smythe division, 6-5 games.
5-4 games. Yes, I agree.
No defense in that league whatsoever, and they scored a ton. The Oilers scored a ton of goals, and that's how they won games. And
if you want to look at his goals against 2012, 2013, 2.46. Next season, 2014, 2015, 2.28, 2.35, 2.42. Those are good numbers. Last year was his worst season. Is he inconsistent, Kurt? I totally agree with you. He is a very inconsistent goalie. But overall, in his career, he is not as bad of a goalie as people go on that he is. Does he have the shitty times where he's 3 weeks off or 4 weeks off? Yeah, he does. He has those times. Not every goalie does that. Goalies will have a week off, 2 weeks off where they're bad, and then they make up for it. I'm not saying, Kurt, that he's the best goalie in the world. I'm just saying the Blues could do a lot worse than to have Jake Allen in net.
Not according to based on the numbers with the season he's coming off of last year. You can go back and you can pull numbers from 2, 3, 4 seasons ago all you want, but that's not the guy he is right now. Like I said, I'd love to have that Jake Allen back. The guy from that put up a 920 whatever save percentage, and a what do you have 3 years ago when he had a good year 2.4? What was it?
The only time he's been over 920 is when he was with the Wolves at a 928. The best time with the Blues was 2015, 2016, where it was 920 exactly.
Okay, so I mean, 920 is nine. To be honest, 920 is like the minimum of what I want a goalie to be, and 920 is I think about league average or a little. Average.
920 last year is good for 15th in the league. I think Andrei Vasilevsky had a 920, but league average around is 913, I think.
Okay. But I've made this point with you before. Look at Murray. Look at Murray for Pittsburgh. His goals against was over 3. People consider them such a great team, and I've heard people call him one of the top 12 goalies in the league. Okay, how can you be a top 12 goalie in the league when your goals against is 3.13 or 3.23? You're not.
You won a cup though too, so I mean, and he plays on a team that scores more goals.
So what you're telling me is if Jake Allen had a 3.55 goals against and the Blues won a Stanley Cup, he'd be considered one of the best goalies in the league.
No.
I
don't think anybody's saying Matt Murray's one of the best goalies in the league. You get him into a playoff series and he could probably win it for you. I don't think Jake Allen's that guy.
I'm not upset with you guys. I fully understand what you're saying.
No,
I can see your point. Jake is very inconsistent. He can be good at times. I just think I think you and I can come to an agreement. I think sometimes people give him too much credit, and I think sometimes people don't give him enough credit. I'm kind of one of those guys in the middle.
I think we're backwards on one thing, and one thing you said that sticks out to me is that you said he's a I'm not sure the word you used. He's a good goalie 70% of the time, and he's not so good 30%. I would based on what he's been lately, I would reverse that. I would say he's good 30% of the time and not so good 70%. And
I was going to go back and do this, but I didn't have time. I'm getting prepared to be on another podcast tomorrow, and let's look at how many games the Blues scored. The Blues scored 2 goals or under with Jake Allen in the net. Let's look at that, because I guarantee you after the first part of the season, it was a lot. So it might be a different story. He could have won 10, 12, 13 more games, and you wouldn't be saying, oh, he's not a good goaltender. He won this many games, and he won 3-2, 3-1. It's a fine balance. You need good goaltending, you need scoring, you need both.
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna counter that by saying that last year on our shows, it was November ish, late November, when the Blues were playing really well, and we talked about Jake Allen's play and about how it's like, you know what, the Blues are playing great, they're winning, but the power play issue was still an issue. We were scoring goals 5-on-5. the power play was an issue, and goaltending. And we brought that up. It was like, you know what? If the goals dry up, we're not going to be winning games anymore because Jake Allen's not performing at a level he needs to perform when this offense comes back to earth. And
I agree with that, but it's a two-way street. When a goalie's playing great, and when he stops playing great, his team has to step up and start scoring goals.
Right.
It goes both ways.
I'm in the boat, and I'm in the boat that says that Jake Allen sucked last year, and our offense sucked last year. I'm in the boat that both were a major issue.
Yeah,
absolutely. And what it is everything's got to click at the right time.
That's exactly right.
Postseason, and Jake Allen is a goalie that can do that if he's in the right mind at the right time. But that just hasn't been the case.
His mind is messed up. His talent is there. I mean, when he's on and he's not backing into the net, he's in the right position to make a save, and he's not letting things get into his head. He's very good. When he lets things get into his head, he's terrible. He is terrible. I will definitely get that.
And that's not the
is there honestly a locker room issue? I wonder, because I mean, you and I have had a talk, Kurt, in the past about Vladimir Tarasenko sticking up for him at one point. Well, maybe this locker room is split on the support behind this goaltender. I'm not sure. I've often thought about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, and I think, I remember the conversation I think we had, and I'm not sure if we touched on this part or not, but it is deflating to a team when a soft goal is allowed, and when those soft goals come fairly frequently, and that is a huge downer on a team. You know, when Bill was a goalie on my team, when he would allow softy after softy, it just killed us.
And you go over Neiman.
One thing that we can
cup.
One thing that we can recognize is that we have quite a few new faces on this roster. So we may have a revamped faith in the goaltender. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, I think, Ray, I'm with Kurt. Kurt's willing to give him a chance. I want to see him do better. But you know what? If he does the same stuff he's done over his last several years, I think he should go. They should either let him go, find somebody to trade him to, and I don't care what the hell they get, but if he lays another goose egg for a month, 5-6 weeks, he needs to be gone.
I would love
absolutely.
I would love nothing more than, I don't want this to come off like I'm anti Jake Allen, or
no.
I've said this before last season many times. I don't give a shit who is in goal. Just win, just play well and win. I don't care. If you're Jake Allen and you turn it around and you get your stuff together and you have a great season, I'm his biggest fan. I really mean that. I don't have I have nothing personal against Jake Allen. I want the Blues to win. I don't care who's in net. And if it's Jake Allen, so be it. That's fine. But the problem I have is, with a lot of people, is that my confidence is shot in him. I think last season, it was the straw. I was done.
No, and I fully understand that, Kurt. There's a lot of people that feel that way. And I'm about to that point, but I'm still trying to have confidence in him. And if he lays
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Ray. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that if he were to have a spectacular season, he'd be living up to his value, and it seems like it would be the smarter move to move on after he's pulled it together. I want to let you go ahead and take back your talk.
No, it's all right. No, I agree. I think this is his last season with the Blues. If he does great, capitalize on it and get something for him. If he does terrible, get what you can and move on. I like him up to a point, and I want to give the guy a chance, but I want to see him prove it to me that he can be more consistent, because I think he's got the talent. It's just in his head. And if it continues to be in his head, Bill knows it, and I know it from being a goalie. When somebody gets in your head or something's in your head, you're done. You're not going to do anything.
You know what? If it wasn't for that 5-game series against Minnesota, I wonder how many people would be saying he's got the talent. He just needs to get his head straight. Because
I wouldn't be. To be honest with you, that really helped me.
Okay.
That really helped me with his attitude towards him, because then I thought, well, maybe this guy does have it.
Okay. I mean, it's all right. Okay. I mean, it's my take is it's only 5 games. I know it was a series in the playoffs, but it is 5 games. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
I'm rooting for him.
Aaron, what are your thoughts on Jake Allen?
I think that none of us are a big a fan of him as Alex Steen, who has gone on record multiple times with saying he's a top 3 goalie in the league.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he said that multiple times.
So who does he put it with?
GM Alex.
Cam Ward.
Division rival.
Curtis McElhaney. I don't know.
Curtis McElhaney.
Top 3 goalie Curtis McElhaney.
I thought he was number 2.
Someone did recently.
No, Cam Ward's number 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm willing to give Jake Allen a shot. I've already been thinking about who we have to target as a goalie if we want to move. If he does lay an egg in the middle of the season and we have to move him on, who's going to be?
Miller? Ryan Miller could be available.
Bill, you're dirty.
No, we're not doing that again. I don't know, like maybe Craig Anderson, Ben Bishop kind of goalie. Older
Craig Anderson,
goalie.
I think, is almost as old as me. That's not good.
Yeah, older goalie that can be serviceable until Husto's NHL ready. I don't know.
Craig
it's hard.
Member of the Blues for 3 games in 2003. Was it? He's been around a very, very long time.
My cousin has ads from when he was here.
From when it was
Chicago. I thought he bought him in Chicago, but in the Blues colors?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
They're Blackhawks
colors. All right. Well, that was a good talk.
Vigorous.
All right.
Vigorous?
Another jersey for you to consider there.
Oh, what's it? Nice.
You know what my teacher used to say? If you can't share it with everybody, don't share it at all, Bill.
It's
Tweet it up, Bill.
I'll retweet it. It's Ian Reed from Pucknology Sharks.
San Jose Sharks. Yeah.
He retweeted it. It's the Twitter is at Isles White SUV because stupid SUV in the corner of Barclays Center.
Yeah.
They're being included into the jersey.
Hey, one more thing before I forget. You were asking me about ticket prices. I went back and looked, and I noticed they gave me a $20 discount. The tickets were normally $199. I got them for $179.
Oh, so you still okay? Wow, that's
club seats section 116 row GG.
Wow, that's a lot.
It hurt.
I'm pretty sure Minnesota had theirs cheap because I think me and my aunt went to a game and we're in the 3rd row behind the Wild starting net for $70 a ticket.
That's not bad.
That's not too bad.
It was also kids' night, so there was a bunch of kids in the first row. But
at least you could see over them.
I mean, yeah, until our first, it was nice because our first row was actually empty until some family moved in and started walking around for the 2nd and 3rd period.
So Minnesota's your closest team. Why are you a Blues fan?
Honestly, I'm a first-generation sports fan, so I kind of got to pick my team.
Great.
So it was kind of just based on jerseys because I've technically started out as a Devils and Capitals fan because our local NAHL team, which is Junior 2, is red and black. So I was like, I like red and black. This is when I was 11. I'm 19 now. But so I was like, red and black, those I'll go for red teams. So the New Jersey and the Capitals, and I don't know, I hard pendulumed to the other side and went blue, I guess.
So no Blackhawks, huh?
No, my mom's a Blackhawks fan.
Oh no.
Gross.
She's from Illinois, so.
Oh, anyone from Illinois sucks.
We're from Illinois.
Yeah, I'm from Illinois. What are you trying to say, Jeff?
Exactly. Anyone from Illinois sucks.
Oh, and Aaron, Kurt and I really don't hate each other. It's much worse than you think. So
We just hate each other on TV.
Good enough. Great drama for the season.
That's right.
hey, it's all about the ratings.
Yeah.
Hey, we got
There you go.
We got a couple comments here on YouTube since these boys have joined us. First of all, Josh Webster has some thoughts on the whole conversation earlier. Damn, this is some real beef. Jesse Hill comments, also from Blues Rants, says did he just compare Fuhr to Allen? LOL. And Josh Webster adds, I'm entertained. And then I guess earlier when we were talking about who would the Blues go get mid-season if Allen lays an egg, he says Henrik Lundqvist. They will get Lundqvist if he lays an egg.
Lundqvist will not leave New York, though.
That's what I said.
No.
Yeah, I've actually had that conversation with multiple people. He's not leaving New York. If he didn't leave last year, he's not leaving at all.
And what's he
I think
making?
this
What's he making?
organization's
$7-8
gonna-
million a year.
I think it's like 8.
Yeah.
We could get his brother.
It's Joel.
He doesn't play goalie, but we can get him.
Bill said Bobrovsky.
Yeah.
And
Bobrovsky's basically told
we would have to.
That's a steep price.
Yep.
Well,
we dodged the bullet on not trading Costin, Kyrie, or Thomas this summer. I don't want to go through that whole thing again trying to get Bobrovsky.
I think Costin's tradable now, though.
Yeah.
I
mean,
he's not making this roster.
No, he's not making this team. He's been sent back down already. But I mean, assuming things don't work out with Allen, Bobrovsky would be very interesting if they can make that work.
Put him on a team for once.
Yeah.
I want to ask one question. Who else is pissed off that the San Jose Sharks got Carlson? Now they got Brent Burns and Carlson.
That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
geez, my knees. Come on, guys.
I still don't think they're going to be a great team.
No, I don't think they have enough offense. I really don't.
Me neither.
I don't think they're going to have enough defense because Marc-Edouard Vlasic can't play with both of those guys. Who's their fourth guy is fucking Ryan Braun.
Yeah, but isn't Vlasic part of the Vlasic nickel fortune?
Well,
Or not,
Carlson's good defensively, but he's not a good defenseman.
No,
But
he's not.
He also hasn't been as he is an elite player, but since his injury, since he had his Achilles
He
tendon,
still has a mechanical ankle.
Yep.
his stats have gone down. I
He's
think
still world class, and they still got a very good price for him, only giving up Chris Tierney and DeMello and Norris. But I don't think they're deep forwards, and Martin Jones is the perennial league average goalie.
Right. Yeah, Martin Jones is what I don't know. Jake Allen could aspire to be, I guess. To put a cap on that conversation,
League average 915
right
every year.
Right.
No fading.
Very consistent team in front of it. It's just I don't know. I think that they'll San Jose didn't have to give up a whole lot, so they are a much better team this year. But
Chris Tierney was in their top 5 in scoring, though.
Yeah.
At 40 points.
Yeah,
They're not deep.
He was in top 5.
Exactly.
He was 5th.
He was 5th at 40 behind Burns.
And Ryan O'Reilly scored 6 goals for me the other night.
And Bob's your uncle.
I think I've heard that somewhere before.
Yeah.
All right. This has been a very interesting conversation tonight.
For a preseason show, this is very big.
It has. What's the apple juice there, Aaron?
Yeah, are you a mock salesman?
It's good, dude. God's nectar.
Yeah, gives me the runs. That's not good.
I gave up soda, so I have to drink something.
I gave up soda and I drink water. So
Gotta get sugar someone.
Hey,
more power to you if you gave up the soda. It's bad for you.
I got you.
You need to drive down to Eckerd. Some Eckert's apple juice. That stuff's good.
There you go. Freshly squozen.
Fresh disposing.
I just need a cup or something. It's kind of annoying to drink out of this.
They don't have
Makes
cups.
you feel more manly though.
They don't have cups.
It doesn't though. It really doesn't. I have small enough hands. This makes my issue even worse.
So you have Trump hands?
Not quite, but they're small.
We don't get into politics in this show, Lance.
What's politics?
We mentioned politics about 3 years ago.
Oh my God, I remember that.
About 10 seconds.
I remember that.
Came out in a comment on the iTunes comments.
Right. It's still like a prominent comment.
I know. It's like we talked about it one time for like 10 seconds.
I'm talking about
That's
the business
hilarious.
owner. I'm not talking about the other part of his life.
Okay. I think we're gonna wrap up the show. We've had
Wait a minute. We have just a second. We've got a couple more YouTube things.
all right.
Josh Webster wants to know our thoughts on the Latera Shen trade after today, which we did kind of get into already, but I think we're all still thumbs up, right?
I'm not sure what could happen to make it thumbs down for me. I hated Latera that much.
Yeah,
I did too.
That's what we all said. We all said when that trade happened that even if giving up those draft picks sucks, it's getting Latera off the roster.
We nothing Latera and lose nothing.
That era is done in the NHL now.
Oh, real quick before I forget, speaking of former Blues players, I saw an article, I can't remember where it was a couple weeks ago, that said, could Magnus Payarvi be the leading scorer in Ottawa? And I'm serious.
No,
I think I saw that.
he totally
It's
He
Ottawa.
could.
So
What, 12
Link
goals
me
and
that
18
article.
assists?
And Mark Stone will beat him, but still, yeah, that's a possibility.
Ty Ratty will give him a run for his money.
That's not going to last long.
He's gonna score 50 goals, and it's gonna be nuts.
There's a lot of guys that play with McDavid that look good for a season or two, and then after that, they don't look real good.
Yeah, we got one of them, Yakupov.
Yes.
Exactly.
did you
Where's
see?
he at now? Is he working at the local McDonald's somewhere
he's
in Russia?
I think he plays for Avsgard. I want to say Avsgard.
Did you see the interview from with the Ottawa TV or something that interviewed yeah.
Yes.
Where they say they're going to have 10 rookies this year and then 15 next year, while talking to a current player who's not a rookie, so therefore out of a job.
While he wore an outdated jersey too. It was kind of funny.
Face of the franchise, Mark Borowiecki.
So.
That was amazing. That was such a good. If you have not watched that, people listening to the show, watch it right now. Go to Ottawa's Twitter and watch that because it was amazing.
That was
Eugene Melnick wearing his Reebok 2007 Sens jersey because he can't afford a new one.
Yeah, Borieski is wearing like decent clothes for an interview, and the owner of the team is wearing a jersey.
Yeah, from like 2008.
Hey, intern, break that case. Get that jersey out. I need one.
It was such a bad idea. It was such a bad idea.
Terrible owner. Terrible owner.
The Ottawa Senators are the prime example of why North American professional sports need to introduce the idea of relegation. If you get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We done, Jeff? Close the show now?
Yeah. I'll let you wrap it up now.
Okay. I didn't even check Twitter. All the action's been on YouTube tonight.
Jeff can wrap it up and Bill can put a bow on it.
We do have a couple things on Twitter actually.
Oh no.
Never mind. You know what? It's not important.
Ouch.
No offense, Catherine. It's just a conversation that it kind of included us.
Jeff, you shouldn't say that
I
about
saw
posts
it,
from your
Josh.
mom.
Or John.
Jeff doesn't like the listeners confirmed.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. I think
I like about 5 of our 9 listeners.
our next show is will be next Wednesday, scheduled for next Wednesday, October 3rd, 9 p.m. Central, which is the night before the season opener.
So we should do some kind of season preview show.
It'll be we touched on some stuff tonight, but next week we'll give the roster will be set and everything, and we'll have a lot more to talk about. So
and I'll take one of my anxiety pills, Bill, so I'm not all or Kurt, so I'm not all over you.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'll take some anxiety pills too because I'll be watching Jake Allen play in that. So
Kurt is he's used to men being all over him.
Oh.
and next week it's a 2-person show. Bill and I. Jeff Ponder is on assignment next week. So thank you for listening tonight. That'll do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Thank you, Aaron and Ray and Lance for joining us. I guess Lance, you want to start off?
Sure.
With folks where they can find you. Sorry.
Sure. Just change the Twitter account to @DropHockeyShow. A lot of people were confused because they're like, "What the hell is official the Drop?" So it's now Drop Hockey Show. I'm going to be on Blues NHL podcast tomorrow, and also big news: I have a Hall of Fame NHL player I will be interviewing in the next week or two. I'm getting things set up with them. I'm not going to say who it is, but I will be interviewing them. Looking forward to it. You can go to the website, droppodcast.com. Drop Podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
Look at this guy.
I know. He's like reading from the script or something.
Professional businessman.
Yeah. Ray, you want to give your shout out? If Ray's not there.
What happened to him?
I think he muted himself.
He's muted himself. Ray, you're muted.
Oh, there I am.
There he
You guys can find me at Ray B. Standifer, or you can find us at bluesrants.com. And we look forward to the season. This is our first season, so it was a pleasure to stop by and listen to you guys and chime in a little bit.
Cool. And
you're always welcome, Ray.
You notice I didn't say that to me, Ray.
Yes, Ray and Aaron are always welcome.
Aaron, you got a Twitter handle or something you want to shout out or no?
Sure.
Sure.
Give me a second. Yeah.
Apple juice, Ray.
Yeah. At Mott's.
I'm a Muslim myself.
Muslimans.
I have a Twitter at AARONKNOXO. I don't tweet, so you won't get anything. I'll tweet something and then I'll delete it an hour later because no one liked it. So if you see it, there you go.
So if we see it, we've got to get it quickly.
Right. There you go.
I was going to tweet you the secret of life, but damn, I'm not going to do it now.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
That'll do it for this week's episode of Let's Go Blues Radio.
Ray is on it already. Notification 3 seconds after.
That is hilarious. I'm on Twitter here, so.
Shout out Mott's.
For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone. Let's go
Shout
Blues.
out Mott's.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go.
Shout out Mott's.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues.